Hello and welcome to Recentered, episode 24 of our normally twice monthly podcast. Had a little bit of a break this month. Gary's been on holiday, so we thought we'd take advantage of this lovely rainy weather. No, that doesn't work really, does it? Anyway, joining me as normally is, first up, Gary. How are you doing? How was your holiday?
It was good, yeah, I'm doing good. We just went away for a long weekend, basically, in Scarborough, but we got pretty lucky with the weather. It did rain a little bit, but you can't... That's just par for the course. It's going to happen, isn't it? So, but yeah, we had a good time in Scarborough. I've been playing a little bit of VR, well, quite a bit of VR, actually, but... I did take a break over that period. Obviously, I was away, and I did take the Quest with me, but I didn't get a chance to use it. Is always the case when you go away and you have these plans of sometimes having some spare time. But yeah, we didn't have any of that. So
it seemed to be more of a Steam Deck break for you, from what I've seen.
Yeah, there was a little bit of Steam Deck going on. I did play a bit of Steam Deck as well. So we go away on holiday, and I've got all this tech that I'm taking with me as well. But I've been playing, I mean, anybody that wants to look on my channel, it's Pimax. I mean, it's all Pimax at the minute, but I'm going to be probably trying to reduce the amount of Pimax content I make. I'm running out of stuff to make content on with that headset, honestly. So I won't stick on Pimax with the stuff that I've been getting into, really. You can check out my channel for that kind of stuff. But I've been sent the Rokid Max glasses, which I'll be releasing a video on Monday on those as well. Nice. So they offer this sort of like a... They call them AR glasses. It's very difficult. What I wouldn't call them AR glasses. I mean, strictly speaking, they overlay digital on top of your real surroundings, but it's a screen. It's a flat screen basically. So they're video glasses. They're media consumption glasses. But I'll be getting into that a lot, and I've been trying them for the past few days, and they're pretty good. They're pretty good actually. But I'll get into that a lot on my video.
A lot of these glasses seem to be trying to push themselves as AR glasses, and it's a stretch of the imagination, really, with the tech we've got at the moment to even call them that. I
was looking up the definition of AR, and the strict definition is that they overlay something digital onto your real world, and that's what these do. So strictly speaking, I suppose you could say that they are AR, but they're not what I would consider AR glasses. They don't have any contextual awareness of your surroundings or anything like that. They've got no they possibly have got 3DOF, but only in certain... with the actual official app on the Android store, I believe, but I've not got an Android phone powerful enough to run these, so I can't test that aspect. But I've been testing it in Steam Deck. I mean, absolutely fantastic for Steam Deck. That's one of the best things, honestly, with these. But yeah, I'll get into that a bit more in the video. I've also been sent the DPVR, so I've been sent a load of hardware, which I'm excited to get into, and Rog was chastising me for complaining about just not having the time to make videos on this.
It's a hard life when you get all this hardware, isn't it?
But yeah, I've got the DPVR E4 that I've not even opened the box on yet. I received it yesterday, so I'll be getting into that, and there'll be some more videos on that later on. So I can't really talk too much about that either. But so I've been away. I've been doing some VR stuff and been playing some games as well, which we'll get into later. So yeah, it's been pretty busy for me lately. Oh, and I got PS5 finally. So
yes. Wow.
I know.
Me too. Bring it in, PS5 posse.
Yeah. Okay, Lee, over to you. It's like another PS5 owner. What is going on? I thought underneath the earth was starting to get a bit cold.
I totally forgot that I got a PS5, even though it's literally a foot from where I'm sat, and I probably wouldn't have mentioned it until Gary did. So yeah, picked up a PS5. They were in the sale, right, Gary? Well, not in a sale as such, but they reduced the price, like £80 maybe. So I picked it up for $399. So I couldn't really grumble at that. Saying that, I've not really been on it, and Mrs. Dave's been playing Horizons 2 like non-stop for 3 days. So I've not really been on it that much, but yeah, I'm quite liking it. It's very. I mean, on my OLED TV, everything looks really sharp on it and really detailed, even more so than my PC. But that could just be my monitor. My PC should really be a lot more powerful than that. But yeah, so picked up one of those and been playing mainly flat screen things because in the UK, we've got to think about weather, right? It's either red hot and we all complain, or it rains and we all complain, or it's cold and we all complain. So we've gone from it being red hot and too hot to play VR to it's cold. So now I'm playing VR and been playing a bit of flat screen. PD's got me into those really annoying kind of Vampire Survivor, Halls of Torment type things where you're running around shooting and trying to level up. So if you want to have a look at those, they're like £4, but they're really, really addictive to play.
That Vampire Survivors thing, I don't get. I've got it and I've played it a little bit. It just doesn't hit the buttons for me that it seems to hit with everybody else. It's just not. I don't know. It just doesn't do it for me. And
I do prefer the other one. Yeah, that Halls of Torment. I think I did a couple of live streams and Rog popped on and said hello. And yeah, I kind of do like that. And then I've been trying to get my old Amiga discs to work. I don't want to go off on tangent because this could be an hour long, so reel me back in a second. So I've been trying to get those to work with a drive that can read Amiga discs. So I found some of my old music. One disc was 31 years old. I knew this because I've labelled it 1992. So I've got those working. So maybe I'll pop a video out with a bit of the old music that I used to do. I say me, they're more like samples from rave music back in the day. And yeah, I've just been playing around with that, really.
So you need to archive them for posterity and get them uploaded to these Amiga archives, you know.
I don't think they'll want to see my stuff, to be honest. But I was trying to get some of the old discs that I got, you know, the 17-bit studio stuff that I showed the pictures of you, but they don't seem to be working. It's just, I think mostly they've not been stored great. And I've been trying to, you know, recover them that isopropyl using some of that, and I've got like a cleaning kit. But yeah, I think they've pretty much had it. But yeah, it's
a lot of mine as well. A lot of mine that I've got hundreds of Amiga discs, and I'd say probably about maybe 30% of them still read okay from the ones I've tried anyway. They just don't last. That kind of storage, it just doesn't last.
I mean, it's like 10 years, isn't it? It's supposed to be like a 10-year shelf life. Yeah. And for me to put that disc in at 31 years old and it just worked perfectly, I was like, huh? Yeah. All my discs are going to work. But then
I've had pretty good success with a lot of mine, but mine have been sort of sat in a Poso box in a sort of quite a cool sort of area, really, all this time. So maybe they've just been in really good conditions. But the problem I've got is a majority of my discs are labelled hard drive backups. So I can't even remember the name of the hard drive utility, but I'd literally have to restore discs and discs and discs of hard drive backups to see what I've even got on half of them. It's crazy.
Right.
I've not even got mine labelled half the time, so I've had to just try and guess, or I can see like really, really 30-year-old faint pencil lines where I can sort of make out what they are. That's how I knew. The only two I'd labelled was my music stuff, so I knew what they were straight away.
I think I managed to recover the very first 3D animation I ever did in real 3D on the Amiga. And it's such a simple thing, and I set it up, and it was based on the old Lawnmower Man, the VSI company logo, and it was a very bad reinterpretation of that. And I give it to my mate because he could leave it at his house at the time, sort of just running over the weekend, and I think it started running on like a Friday night, and it finished sometime Monday. And there's only like 12 frames of animation or something ridiculous. It took like 2 or 3 days just to render a few frames of animation. It's unbelievable.
They used to have like ray tracing and stuff like that in there as well, though, didn't they? Even on the Amiga back in the day.
Yeah, that's what Real 3D did.
It was the ray tracing.
Yeah, it's got reflections on it and whatever, but it took so long. And basically, it was just basically a sphere and sort of like the outline of a cube and some, I think, like mirrors placed around it to reflect them. Really basic, so shockingly basic that, you know, your average sort of like cheap watch could probably do way better nowadays in real time. But yeah, what have I been doing? Well, I sort of. The first couple of weeks, we've been away for about 4 weeks now, haven't we? So the first couple of weeks, I didn't really play that much. I sort of stepped back. I sort of hit my digital piano sort of seriously for the first time in a while, because I've been sort of neglecting that a bit, and doing like a C major 7. I think that's what it's called. My fingers are really stretched, and I really knackered a couple of knuckles on my right hand up at one point. It took like 2 days to recover, so that were bad. And then playing Switchback with the new patch we'll talk about in a bit. The resistive trigger on those controllers, when you're hammering away for that long, that knackered me a couple of knuckles up on my left hand. Just the rapid firing, prolonged firing. So I literally, to play that, I had to end up turning the strength down on the resistive triggers, because it's like, good grief, it's like getting old or what? This is ridiculous.
They are good though, I've got to say. That's one of the things I've noticed. Yeah, I do like them. On that Astrobot thing that I've been playing on the PS5,
Yeah.
my family have already completed that. They've already gone through that.
It doesn't take long. You can platinum it in 5 hours.
Yeah.
It's but it is good, and it's still one of the best demonstrations on the DualShock for those triggers. It's really, really neat. It's
I like the controller. It's really comfortable in the hand.
Yeah. So, well, might as well get on to what we've been playing then, really. So, first up on the list, and it's me. And this is Galactic Catch on the Quest 2. I picked this up on the Up Close store, obviously. It's by Baobab Studios for £10, $13. And if you recognise the name of Baobab, if you're around sort of earlier on in when VR was making its comeback, there were a couple of 3D sort of 360 animations. There was Asteroids, and the first one, which I've totally forgotten the name of now, Invasion, that was it. And Invasion was actually a real-time sort of like 3D sit and look around experience on the Rift. I think Asteroids was only maybe released as a 360 video. And it had these couple of little alien characters in it. Well, Galactic Catch is a fishing game in which these two characters have been swallowed by a giant leviathan fish, and you've got to go and rescue them by fishing. So yeah, it's a fishing game, and it's a sci-fi fishing game. Multiple sort of worlds and planets to go fishing on with crazy designed, alien fish and everything. And there's not much more to say beyond that, other than I quite really like it. The easiest thing to say probably is if you've played Bait, this is a sci-fi version of that, really, I suppose, with maybe a few bells and whistles. Graphically, quite nice for Quest. Plays as you'd sort of expect. You throw your lure in, you get arrows to lean your rod left, right, or pull it up if the fish bites. You've got a marker that you need to keep between like a blue zone and like a red zone, so it plays out pretty much like you'd expect an arcade fishing game to play out. There's a neat little thing with the rod though. Rather than having the sort of the reel physically attached to the rod, you can sort of grab anywhere and sort of hit your trigger, and there's like an arc of electricity what goes in between, which creates the reel, and you reel the fish in. But it means that you don't have to have the controllers next to each other. So unlike other fishing games, I don't think I didn't bash my controllers together in this. It's a nice little design idea, and obviously plays into the sci-fi aesthetic of it. And there's not a lot else to say about it. If you've played Bait and you like Bait, you'll like this. It's an arcade fishing game. There's not a lot else to say other than it's a tenner, and in my book, it's worth picking up. It's one of those games you sort of sit and play when you really can't be bothered to get down into something deep, what you have to think too much about something. Yeah, it's a bit of I'll say palate cleanser. It's sort of a relaxing.
Yeah, it's a chill out game.
Yeah, it is. It's an absolute chill out game. It looks nice. I wish some of the distant backgrounds, they'd be a bit sharper. They're a little bit blurry for my taste. Maybe with Quest 3 they could patch it, but
it's always like that on Quest 2 though, with stuff like this, where anything in the distance, they always seem to do that, and just save a bit of processing.
Yeah, I think what it is some of the near field objects is all real time. It's proper 3D geometry. But in the far distant stuff, I'm assuming it's a skybox. Yeah. And it's just, I don't think the resolution of that is quite high enough to the point where you'd not notice. It could do with being a step up res-wise, just to take the edge off. Because you're not looking at that really. You're focusing on the water and you're focusing on the fish. But if you just look up, you can see it could just do a bit more sharpness. But yeah, I mean, minor niggle, minor complaint. It's a tenner. If you like arcade fishing games, yeah, thumbs up, go get it.
It's very much like, from what I could see there on the gameplay, it's definitely very much Bait. Exactly, near enough the same as that. If you ever do play Bait and you pick a silly outfit for your meta avatar, just remember to change it back before you, go in Horizon Worlds, for example. We'll talk about that later.
Yep, absolutely. Next up, Gary, Rooms of Realities.
Yeah, so this is an escape room game, basically. We did receive a key for this as well. It's by Blue Key. It's £12.79 in the UK and $14.99 in the US. So I'm going to go off memory here because I played this before we were due to record the last episode. So you're probably talking about 3 weeks ago that I last played this. But it's an escape room game, and I think when I went in, you have 2 escape rooms to play through. I think they've added a third one in there now as well. So you've got these that will take a while to get through anyway. And when you first go in, you find yourself in this room which has got a little tutorial showing you how to play. You just complete these very basic tasks which are on the screen now. This is the first room you find yourself in. And you've got the videos that you can put in and view a tutorial on there. Once you put the level video in there, then you'll be transported to the first level. So I played through part of it. This is really co-op, and it would be great to go in with people on this because I'm not very good at this, really. I did okay. I did better than I thought, and I was progressing pretty quickly up to a certain point through this first room, the first actual proper escape room that I went in. But it's presented pretty well. The performance is fine. I went in actually on the Pimax Crystal first, and then I went in on the Quest 2. For some reason, when I was in the Pimax Crystal, it was nothing to do with the resolution that I was rendering at, but the movement just felt stuttery, and it wasn't a performance issue. I was sort of checking all of that kind of stuff. It was more, there was some kind of anomaly going on in the Pimax Crystal for some reason with this game. But then when I went into the Quest 2, it was fine. Just playing on Airlink with this, and there was no problems at all. So performance is great, and the puzzles are your standard escape room puzzles, really. There was some clever stuff that was going on in there, and there's a good variety in the room. A lot of the puzzles that you're trying to solve are very different from one another. And it's like the same thing. I don't know if you guys have played any... Well, I know you've played some escape room stuff. But this is sort of... you go into these rooms and you're just trying to fathom what you're supposed to do first. And that's what I did for a while. But things pretty quickly became clear. And I was progressing pretty well for a while. And then, inevitably I got to a point where I just didn't know what to do next. I think having more people in there would be good. The rooms are relatively small, the sort of standard size really, but having a couple of other people in there just experimenting with stuff and working your way through would be great. But yeah, I enjoy it.
Right? Is it 4 player?
I think it's up to 4 players. Yes.
Yeah. Cool.
Co-op, but I think it. Go on.
So I'm about to say, this take place in different time zones, because we've gone from VHS tapes to World War One by the look of it. I'm just looking at the video.
It's like an Egyptian map as well, maybe.
Yeah, there's so I think it moves around a little bit. That first level is the tutorial level. Right. So it's like it's set in almost, I don't know, maybe it's weird because it's got some kind of futuristic thing and then aesthetics, but then you've also got these VHS tapes and stuff like that. So I need to look into the story a little bit more. But the actual first room that I went through was good. So you're in like the Second World War, it looked like, and you're just solving various different things, and the puzzles sort of there's interchangeability between the puzzles as well. So you go through one section and you work out roughly what they're talking about in one puzzle, but then it will give you these symbols that you think, hang on, I've seen those on another puzzle, and it is the same kind of thing that we've seen in escape rooms before. But this is a really, I've got no complaints. If escape room is your kind of genre, then this does it in a really good way. I've played through a few escape room games actually. I played my wife and I played through one a while ago. I can't even remember the name of it now, but it's like you're in underwater, so the water's rising as you're trying to solve these puzzles, and that was pretty enjoyable. But that was a more enclosed space, and the environment wasn't varied. At least in this game, you've got a lot of variation in the environments, and the puzzles vary a lot as well. So yeah, I think it's a good game, and probably the right price for the amount of content that you've got in there at the moment, and hopefully they'll continue to expand that as well.
Nice.
It does look quite cool on the video, though. I mean, for people perhaps aren't aware, myself and Rog can now see exactly what Gary's putting out on the screen. He's kind of shared his screen to us, so
because we'd never
that's a genius idea. Whoever thought of that?
we never got around to setting that up before for some reason.
No.
Yeah, just an idea that came to someone. But yeah, so it does look kind of cool.
You woke up with that idea, and it was a stroke of
It was
genius.
the first thing. I actually woke up and thought, I wonder if Gary could share his screen, and then we could actually see the videos that's being shown at the same time. Literally my first thought. So yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Wow. It's we've got sad lives, haven't we?
Indeed we are.
Mine especially.
Okay, so yeah, that's Rooms Realities. Check it out. GTFO Lee.
Yes, GTFO. If people aren't aware of this, I mean, I spoke to you a bit about it, didn't I, Roger? I think you bought it and refunded it.
Yeah, this was a long time back.
A long time ago, yeah. Performance, it's very GPU heavy. I mean, I tried to play it on a 960, I think, and it was literally impossible. But basic storyline is you're like 4 convict type people, and you're being lowered down into these mines or wherever it is. And you've got to try and accomplish these missions, which are, I'm going to say now, this is the hardest game you'll ever play in your life if you ever play it. There's things called, I can't remember, it's like R1, R2, R3, R4, R5. They're all different region things that you jump down in. I've only ever completed 2 out of, and I don't mean 2 total ones. I mean just 2 missions out the entire thing in like 2 years. It's that hard. But it's one of those where it's 4-player co-op. If you get 4 of you to go in and play this together, it's genius. It's very tactical. You can't go in guns a-blazing. If you do, you're dead within seconds. If anything, you've got to try and sneak around really quiet. This thing's called sleepers. As you can see on the video, and now they're all asleep. You wake one of those up, they wake everybody up, and then it's game over, basically. And there's also no saves in this, so you can't save at any point. You play this for 2 hours trying to do the mission, you die, that's it. You start from the beginning. Luckily, or I say maybe not so luckily, you can play this in VR, which is kind of elevates the immersion to another level, and you can get the VR mod on the Flat 2 VR Discord. If you join that, and you'll see a GTFO section, just enable that. And I think it's something like GT test builds, and you can download the latest version. There's 2 little mods that you just drag and drop, basically, and then run the game, and it's in VR for you. And I did get pretty decent performance out of it now, so they must have been tweaking quite hard on the performance side of it. But yeah, it's a fantastic game. It is something that myself and VRAN jump in now and again, just to spend a couple of hours really concentrating playing this game, just to fail at the last door like we did last time. But it just makes you want to go back in and do it again. You've got to go to terminals to find out where these like key cards are. You've got to pick other things up to get to terminals and get little like tasks all the way through it. So yeah, it's a really good game. I definitely recommend if people are into that, and you can get a couple of you playing it. I mean, you can have bots in it as well. So, but they do tend to glitch out a little bit. But if you can get 4 of you in it, it's a fantastic game.
Nice. Right, let's get moving on, because we've got a right list this week.
If that made any sense, because I feel like I babbled all the way through it. But yeah, you might get some information out of that.
Yeah, we've got a right list of games to get through compared to what we normally have. It's but I suppose it's well, I say partly my fault for missing a week. But anyway, next up though is T for God by the Void Room. This is $16.75, $20 on the Steam version we played, and we did get keys for this. Gary, why don't you kick this one off?
Okay, yeah. So we did get keys for this as well. So it's this is one that has been around for a very long time. I remember hearing about this way back, years and years ago. But I believe is it just come out of early access? Is that why this is? I
think so. It
used to be on App Lab, didn't it? Was it App Lab a long time ago on the Quest? I played like an alpha or beta version, or whatever it was, on Quest a long time back.
Yeah, but it's
just released it on PC VR, right?
Yeah, but I think it was in early access on PC as well, wasn't it?
Oh, was it?
Because originally, I'm pretty sure it was originally on PC. Maybe I'm misremembering that, but it might have been something else I'm thinking of.
Maybe.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, so this is the PC version that we're playing, and the main point of this game is that it uses, or it can use, room scale. pretty effectively. And the way it works is it works in this sort of non-Euclidean, it plays into this non-Euclidean room scale. So you will set up your play space. It's got
Hold
a
on
minimum...
1 second, I've just got to Google that. Was it what?
Non-Euclidean. I had to Google this. So when the first one that came out that did this kind of thing way back, it used that term. And what it means is it utilizes your play space so that you never need to use artificial locomotion, and yet you're progressing through these really long levels, and you'll find that the geometry of the level will change, but you won't necessarily notice it because you'll be turning around a corner in a corridor, and all of a sudden you're in a large expansive area. You'll take a few steps to the left or right, go back into another door, and the room has changed. And so it's sort of a way of giving you these massive sprawling levels, but only utilizing real locomotion in a very confined play space. And it does it really well. I think this, to me, that level, and we forget about room scale. This was one of the main pushes back in 2016. Everybody was talking about room scale. It's got to be room scale. We've got to get away from all of this artificial locomotion. And a lot of games, a lot of developers were really hesitant to put any kind of smooth locomotion in for a very long time, like initially when the consumer VR came out. And that's what this was trying to take advantage of, that kind of room scale using real locomotion and giving you an experience that felt full in this. So I think that it does add a level of immersion that you don't get from having sort of artificial smooth locomotion in a game. To me, when you're wandering around these walls, they feel more solid when you're wandering through these corridors and you are making real movements around this. It's one of the main, I guess you could call it the gimmick of this game, or the unique selling point of the game, but it does it in a really good way. Now, of course, that's a separate issue to something else, which is the gameplay and the story and all of these other things. I think the first point I was making there with this room scale, it makes fantastic use of room scale. It makes fantastic use of the level design and doing this in a procedurally generated way. It's procedurally generated levels. So it's different every time you go in and do a run as well. So it's, just really well done. Now, gameplay wise, I'd say that this is probably, I've not played enough to really judge the overall gameplay enough. But I think the area that I'm playing in is my play space is small. I'm playing probably in the smallest allowable play space for this game, which is, I believe it's 6 foot by 3 foot or 4 foot by 3 foot. It's around, the play space I'm playing in is around 6 foot by 4 foot. And you do feel very confined. And when you've got these enemies that suddenly appear in front of you, they feel like everything is too close. That's the thing. The walls are too close. The enemies are too close. And, I'm literally shooting an enemy that is just standing directly in front of me. I could reach out and touch this enemy, and you can, you don't have to use your guns. You can punch them as well and stuff. So, it just feels like it's a little bit confining based on the mechanic that it's using. But the one thing I will say is the atmosphere and the ambience of the game is really good as well. It reminds me of like Arthur C. Clarke kind of sci-fi. You're exploring this place which plays into the narrative of the game and the mechanic that you're using. You're exploring this giant cube which doesn't seem to have any sort of traditional physics of space and stuff like that. That's why it works in this way. And you're wandering around this weird cube with these different physics and stuff. But it just feels like an Arthur C. Clarke sci-fi story where this weird shape appears in the solar system and they have to rendezvous with Rama. That kind of story from Arthur C. Clarke, it invokes those kind of vibes anyway with me. And I'm enjoying it so far. I think the music's also good. It's got this kind of synth wave-ish kind of 80s music vibe as well in there, a little bit. At least in certain points. It's not actually all the way through. There was just certain points that I noticed it, but yeah, I enjoy this one. But yeah, what did you guys think?
I'm sort of split on it. I'm very much split on it. Technically, it's it's mind-boggling. I don't know how he's done this because I think it's basically one developer in it, and I think maybe it got a couple of people to do some voiceovers.
I believe so. Yeah.
How it works from a technical point of view is stunning. It really is clever. I mean, graphically, for some reason, I actually thought the old game. I don't know if you remember Fade to Black.
Yeah.
It sort of reminded me of that graphically for some reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, technically brilliant. The number of options is for. I don't think there's any other VR game that's got the same amount of options as, for configuring the game how you want it that this has. You can play it where if you die, you start again. You can play it with checkpoints, so you don't have to go back too far, or you can play it so you sort of basically respawn where you died. There's various options for configuring your play space, and you can play this with artificial locomotion if you want. I cleared out as much room as I could from my living room, so me keyboard went out the door. One sofa got pushed back as far as it could. My second sofa was stood up on its end in the corner of the room, which meant during the time I was playing this, I couldn't go to the loo. I had about 2 by 3 meters max, and I still don't think that was enough.
No, I'm just looking at this video. The video that I'm showing now, by the way, that's your footage, is it, Rog?
It is. That's using artificial locomotion, that footage.
Right. Okay. I was going to say...
I went back in because I wanted to see what it played like using artificial locomotion.
Right, got you. Okay.
From a gameplay point of view, it doesn't really change it that much. And though playing it using the room scale, I did wonder what Lee would have thought of it, because me and heights in VR, they don't bother me. With this, there was, even though the heights still don't bother me, there's an old phrase comes to mind, again, back towards the beginning of VR. The phrase presence multiplier used to get thrown around a lot in the early days, meaning anything that happens in VR that multiplies the effect of you feeling like you're really in that world. And walking around naturally and peering over the edge of somewhere it's so much more effective than moving up to the edge of somewhere using a thumbstick and then looking over.
Yeah.
When you literally walk across the room up to the edge of a ledge and then look down, to me it doesn't feel real, but there's something there, sort of like tickling the back of my brain, going, that looks more real than it has done before. And I just
agree
wonder
with that. Agree with that.
Yeah.
It's just
like tricking your brain, isn't it? You're tricking because you're actually walking to there and then looking over the edge. It's tricking your brain into thinking you have actually walked to that giant abyss and looked over the edge, and now your stomach's going for it.
Yeah, that's why I thought. I wondered what Lee would make of this, because knowing what you're like with heights.
Exactly, with heights, I get wobbly anyway with the heights in VR, don't I? Especially like on mist and things like that, and the light outs. I'm like, oh, look how far down it is. My legs are going. But yeah, I thought that was really good. Yeah.
Yeah. The where it sort of falls down for me is the gameplay itself didn't really engage me that much. Again, I played it on the two different modes. There's 2 other modes as well, where aside from setting up how you want, what happens if you die, and anything, no other one of 100 other options, because it's so configurable, it's ridiculous. You can choose whether to play it on like a guided mode, where it more easily highlights where you need to be going, or the more exploration mode, and there's got crafting and stuff for your weapons in there as well. And I played it on both, but it didn't quite grab me. There's just something about the game where I thought, what the guy's done is an amazing technical achievement, but I couldn't help feeling that he needed... the graphics just didn't quite do it for me. I think he needs a graphics guy, and I don't know. It needs to push the story a bit more, because as you're going along, you do get like these voiceover, so you're learning what's happened. And some games, it can be too much. The voice will keep going on and on and on. It's like, oh, I wish that had shut up. With this, I found myself going at points for sections thinking, I wish it had actually talked to me again and feed more narrative.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it still needs more work, and I really would like to see a graphical overhaul, because this is definitely, it was on Quest, and this even on PC, it looks like a Quest port. You can't take away from that. It does. The graphics are basic. You can tell it was a mobile game, and I think it needs a graphics artist getting in there, even if it still stays sort of low poly. It's I think it needs somebody else on the team.
I think the graphics didn't bother me too much. The only place where I noticed it really was when the enemies die, and you can see it on this video. They sort of disappear in a puff of smoke that just doesn't seem enough. It's like it's not satisfying enough when the enemies die. I think
even looking at that video there, we look around, everything's flat. There's nothing in the way of shading or shadows. It's very flat. And so
see, I can't remember it looking that bad when I played it. I mean, it doesn't look too great on this video, but I mean, I've only played like 15-20 minutes. I struggle to get it working, but when you first start off and you go towards the big cube, that looked amazing. The graphics on that, but then
I quite like the outside sections where you see
some areas definitely do look a lot better than others. There's no doubt about it. I mean, it does mix things up a bit. At one point, I ended up sat inside a gun. All of a sudden, I was transported inside an external gun turret, shooting at ships as they went past. And I'm not exactly sure why that happened, but there you go. And there's you seem to get like a boss battles. There's one bit where it's in this massive sort of cylindrical area. Like a reactor type area or something, and there's like giant centipede boss type thing crawling about, and when you shoot it, it's split up into sections, doing a traditional Atari centipede type thing. So there's variety, but it's spaced out. There's a lot of time spent just walking around and around and around in these corridors, and I don't know, I think he could do with a designer. He needs a graphics artist and a game designer just to, I don't know, to push, to tidy things up and get some new ideas in there, I think. But anyway, that's my thoughts on it. Any final thoughts on that one?
I mean, I had a quick go. I had trouble getting it to work, right? For some reason in Virtual Desktop, when I was trying to get the game to work, it would just load up in flat screen at like 3 frames a second. No matter what I was doing, I couldn't get it to work. Until Rog, I think you mentioned it, Rog, that about, did you click to make sure you clicked play Steam, in Steam VR and not Quest, because I was on the Virtual Desktop one. Well, I never even seen that option, but what I had to do was start Steam VR in the headset in my Pico, and then run the game from the PC, use the mouse to press start game, and then it comes up with the option playing Steam VR, and then I managed to get in it, and then I had to flick back to VR in my headset, if that makes any sense. Yeah. But I thought graphically, at the very beginning, when you were first heading toward that cube, I thought, I really like the look of this. And the cube were very quite detailed as well, with shading and lighting. But I only got as far as like killing the first few monsters. But I'm with Gary. I really like these room scale games. I'm a big fan. Hopefully they'll keep bringing more and more of them out, because there is something that, like you say, Roy, there's just that feeling that you get when you're walking around in an area and you're actually walking up to these things. You're walking up to these crevices, these giant holes in the ground, and it's just gives you that feeling that you don't get when you're just using smooth locomotion. Yeah. I mean, I'd love a room scale Half-Life Alyx game. if my Wi-Fi could take that, it's, somewhere, a giant area I could play in.
That's pretty much, though, I think that's sort of the design ethic. I mean, although, because what they did originally with the room scale stuff, it was all teleport locomotion. What was the intention was you were supposed to teleport to an area, then use room scale to explore that area, and then teleport to a different. That was the original idea. And I think that was the design ethic as well around Half-Life Alyx, because if you remember when they put in smooth locomotion later on in the development, they've said this, the game was really designed around teleport, and you can see that really with that game. But so you could sort of use room scale with Half-Life Alyx in combination with the smooth locomotion as well, but this does it in such a particular way, and I do think it adds to a level of immersion.
There's nothing else like it. It's at least in, I don't know if there's anything similar on flat screen or not, but in VR it's utterly unique. There's no doubt about that at all. The other thing,
these corridors do feel really close as well, don't they? You do if you're a bit claustrophobic, you really feel like you're in these tight corridors.
Yeah, the first time I played it, that's the problem I had. My shoulders felt like they were really, my shoulders felt like they were wanting to clip through the corridors. If you go into the options, and especially if you put it on the sort of artificial locomotion, it sort of gives you a virtual 10 by 10 play area. You're not going to walk around in that, but it sort of sets out a 10 by 10 area, and it divides that up into 10 by 10, a 10 by 10 grid, which it uses as it's sort of, obviously when it's generating the levels, it's doing it in tiles, in chunks.
Yeah.
And instead of having that 10 by 10, you can change the size of those tiles. So I turned it up a bit, and it gave me, I think it was like a 9 by 9 grid. And then when I was walking around, the corridors actually felt slightly wider, not by much, but I'd only nudged the slider up a little bit. So I think you can sort of change things scale-wise.
Yeah, there's a lot of settings in there you can also try and make it a little bit bigger and wider. There's so many. There's loads.
It's unbelievable the amount of stuff in there.
It's
even
easy.
an option not to crouch as well, because I can't really crouch and bend down, and so I could turn that off.
Yeah,
And,
I turned that off because at one point
Yeah.
I ended up in an area where it was half the height of the normal corridor. So I was, after like 2 or 3 minutes of being crouched down, I thought,
Yeah,
I need to come out of here.
good.
But yeah, you go into the options and you can actually disable the need for crouching, and so yeah.
I think as well, it's easy to see that anybody that's played even a little bit of this, you'll be able to see that just having a bigger play area is going to improve the game. It just does, and that's the issue. Having the very smallest size play area, I don't think it does run up against problems with that. So the bigger play area you've got, and of course you can use the smooth locomotion, but it's sort of taking half the game away from me.
It's taking the point of it out of it, isn't it? It was obviously made to be like a room scale game, and if you've got sort of maybe a 4 by 4 meter area or something like that, or even bigger. I don't know who would have, maybe somebody in the States, I don't know. Then it's probably one to give a go, because I say I had 2 by 3 meters and it still felt a little bit too small for me. The only other thing I'll say as well is, keep in mind, on my view of the game, I'm not generally a fan of these sort of roguelike games. So, I could be a bit of a downer on it there. There's not many roguelikes that I'm generally a fan of.
But this, like you've mentioned, you've got options where you die, you restart at the place where you died. It's not like a normal one, really, this one. It does give you options to make it more like a traditional game as well. So I like that, and I did play it on the point where when I died, I respawned where I died.
Me too. Me too. First thing I clicked on.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's no doubt that, the amount of thought that's been put into it from an options perspective is it absolutely trumps any other VR game. I think you can adjust everything.
I'd love to have the room. We've said it quite a few times now. Just to not worry, because I was kind of looking through the bottom of my headset, just saying, all right, how close am I to the settee? How close am I to my chair? That's the only issues that I did have. If you've got the play space for it, then it's definitely a unique experience.
We need to rent out like a sports hall or something.
Yeah.
For an afternoon, and go down there and play this, and like Space Pirate Arena. And,
Pirate Arena.
Yeah, definitely. Oh man, I still want to play that so bad. So next up with Lee, you've gone back to Hubris.
I did. It's not very often I go back to games to play, but I got more and more captivated by the storyline and the gameplay. It gets better as this goes on. It's like a slow burner. And the first half an hour, I didn't like it at all. I think I may have mentioned it last time when we played it. I wasn't keen. I wasn't a fan. But as you get more into it, you see the man there. You meet up with him, and he gives you a few missions to do. And then this bit I quite like, which is on the hover bike type things, which I kept dying at continuously. But finishing the game, I really enjoyed it. And Quest 2, it's really quite impressive. I did notice that it has got fixed foveated rendering, and I never noticed this really while I was playing, but it's like a square area. You can see it on the video right on the edges. You can see where it's blurry, but it's not very often, like I said, that I go back to complete them. But yeah, I kept going back to this every day, and for Quest 2, it's definitely quite impressive. Quest 2, I really enjoyed it in the end.
I think when the last patch came out, I did actually go back to the PS VR2 version, and I've got a lot further than I did before. Because the first time I played it, it was a nightmare. I've gone over this countless times. It was so bugged I couldn't get anywhere.
That's the only thing that was grabbing me. Like I said, the grip in the edges and stuff like that wasn't quite right. But apparently they fixed it. But I'd already completed the game, so I couldn't go back in ready to try it. But what I will say is, I did play this on PC VR as well, because we've got it on our account, haven't we? So I wanted to try and compare. Obviously, it's going to look better on PC VR. But I got really, really motion sick in the water scenes on PC VR, like literally within seconds. Whereas I didn't in the Quest 2. So I wonder if it's some sort of wavy effect that they've got going on, like a water wave.
Some
on the
underwater
PC VR
effect,
version
yeah.
that they've not got on the Quest 2, due to resources. That I find the Quest 2 a lot easier to play and to use.
Maybe I really can't remember.
Man, I
what
could
it's
not
like
steer
underwater.
this goddamn bike thing. I keep crashing the edges. What I found, like, you see my controllers, as I'm trying to turn it, when you first grab it, your hand's sort of fixed to the steering wheel, but when you crash, they're not like really connected to it. So no matter where you're trying to turn these wheel thing, I just couldn't turn it. And then also I found out that you've actually got a brake on it and an accelerator that I didn't realise until many more deaths later. So yeah. But it's a great game.
I know on I think on PC, look, PSVR2 at least anyway, that's actually an achievement for getting through that section without dying.
Oh, dude, I never get that. Not in a million year.
Yeah. Which actually, sort of random thought, what's happened to achievements on Quest? You used to get achievements on Quest all the time in games. I can't
remember
seeing
any pop. I don't know. I don't see any.
I haven't seen any pop up in what.
I don't think it's because I achieve them in the first place that perhaps they don't pop up.
I've definitely not seen any this year pop up at all, and you used to get them on every game. I wonder if they scrapped it.
I'm just trying to think when I last. I thought I'd seen it pop up, but I'm just thinking maybe it was
a while ago for
Steam achievement that I saw pop up. I don't know, because when you're playing Airlink or wireless, you still see the. Do you still see
the Steam stuff? Yeah.
Does it still pop up? Yeah.
Yeah, it still pops up. Yeah. I also get on virtual desktop.
Maybe
Steam
I
achievements
was
pop
thinking of that.
I wonder if they've scrapped achievements. Then.
That's Boz again, isn't it? Let's blame Boz.
God, yeah, no doubt. Well, that's it, because they've scrapped your Oculus Home, and you used to be able to put little plaques up on the wall.
Yeah.
You could pick an achievement and put plaques up and make silly messages. But yeah, so maybe it's gone the way of that. I don't know. So next up, Throwback PC Early Access game by Lock On Media. This is £21, $25. This was from originally, I think we saw, was it the Upload Showcase?
Yeah. The Upload Showcase. So me and you were really quite excited about it.
Yeah, we looked at it and we thought, sort of like really weird. Because I remember sort of thinking, sort of like between Paperboy and Dumpy Going Elephants.
Yeah.
Whatever it was called back on the DK one. And so I was sort of looking forward to this. And then I can't fairly comment on the game simply because on my machine the performance was that dire. It is literally unplayable. I don't mean it was just juddery or reprojecting. It was all but a slideshow on mine, so I can't even really comment on the gameplay. So it's over to you guys.
I mean, it's not much better on mine, to be fair. I mean, I've got a 3060 and I can kind of play it, but I was getting quite bad reprojection on the hands, and just it was very, very jittery, very juddery. And I thought, I wonder if it's because I'm recording as well, because it takes a lot out of PC when you're doing that. So I stopped recording, and it was still pretty much the same. I think the only person who kind of had a playable experience was you, Gary, right? But I mean, this shouldn't be just playable on a 3080.
No,
they need to work on it big time. But it is early access. We'll point out it is like really early access, and it's just you're riding along and you're chucking these papers out, trying to hit all these things, but. What I didn't realise either, that you don't turn the bike, so it's basically rails, isn't it? You're basically on a rail as such, and you're just chucking these papers as fast as you can to try and get them. So it's more of a workout than anything. But yeah, it didn't grab me, to be honest, and it's a shame because it was something that I was really looking at. But hopefully they can keep working on it and improve it. Definitely improve what it can play on, because I think on the system requirements it says it's like it's pretty low really to run, and I thought I can't get it to run, but there you go.
But this is the problem with early access stuff, because you often hear when devs are talking about the games that they're making, how optimization is one of the last things that they'll deal with. It's one of the last things that they'll really dive into. So it's this problem with early access where you think, well, okay, so the game's still being developed, therefore the optimization is sort of on the back burner for now. But you just think, well, it's really not that playable in this state. So what's the point in early access at all? And even so, I've got a 3080 and playing it was in constant reprojection and then dropping below that as well on my system. You can see
the reprojection really bad though, right? And especially when you're moving your hands, even on the title screen, I could see it. I was like, wow, this is some of the worst I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, it is. And you think, well, maybe on the final release they're going to optimize it and it will get running fine. So, okay, fair enough. You do that, but we can only judge it on the early access state that it's in at the moment. And it's just, it's barely I mean, I'd say on my system it's playable, but it's not good enough, really. So yeah, I mean, there's what I really want. I want control over the bike as well. You don't have any control over the bike. That's the issue. It's half the fun of Paperboy, and maybe maybe it's not trying to be Paperboy. It's difficult to think that it's not, but maybe that's not what it's trying to do. But I just feel like if you had control over the bike as well, you had that extra little mechanic where you can
even like to speed it up a little bit or slow it down, because there was nothing like that, right? It just goes at one constant speed all the time.
Yeah, not that I could see either, and that's weird because you would think you would be able to speed it up or slow it down, and unless we're both missing something, I don't know, but
maybe.
Yeah, you're literally throwing stuff to get points, and that's what the game is. And the graphics are actually very nice, but you would expect them to be based on how it performs at the minute. So, we'd need to hold fire on really giving impressions on this until they've sorted a few of these problems out.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's a nice segue, because talking of sorting out problems, I've been back to Switchback.
Yes. I've been waiting for this.
The long-awaited patch finally came out, and I've actually finished the game. Woohoo!
Yes.
So I think before I'd played 3 levels, if that, of it, and it was just that bad visually. I just gave up on it. The patch brings it up to a state where I think it should have been when it launched. Visuals now, no issues with whatsoever. It looks good. There's no texture popping or sort of like geometry popping, level of detail geometry popping in, which was utterly blatant before. That's all gone. Apparently they're using foveated rendering now.
Yeah.
The only thing from a graphical point of view I wish they could have managed was maybe to sort of like get it up to a 90 hertz mode, because it's just that. I think that'd just elevate it a bit. From a gameplay point of view, I've still got the same issues with it that I had before. There's too much downtime. There's too much doing nothing in this game. Although I will say, a lot of people seem to think that the earlier levels are the best ones and the later ones just sort of tail off and aren't as good. And I think it was Wes on Virtual Strangers who said he thought the later levels were better. And oddly, I will have to agree with him. I thought the later levels were better. And just simply from a graphical sort of scale point of view, there's more impressive sort of like a more impressive sense of scale, to speak again, in some of the later levels, and it just impressed me more. But the game itself sort of suffers from that same. There's not enough happening. There's too much where it's trying to. I think it's maybe just trying to build suspense, and for me, it sort of fails in that regard. I know we keep going back to Rush of Blood, but Rush of Blood felt like an arcade-like gun shooter with a horror theme. This feels like it's trying to be a horror suspense game with an arcade-like gun shooter theme, and it's just Rush of Blood got it right, and this sort of gets it wrong for me personally. If horror stuff really does get to you, then maybe you probably will like it. And I say, from a graphical point of view now, yeah, okay, they've sorted it out. I just wish they could have got it up to like 90 hertz maybe. But I'm much happier with it now than when I was when it originally released. So yeah, I mean, that's all there is to say about it, really.
I mean, it's a weird one though, because I've been trying to speak to Alejandro about it. Hopefully he'll listen to this and perhaps message me about speaking. But I can't see much difference between that and the version I played at PD's. And I think PD said the same when he played it before the patch and after the updated patch, and there was no difference for him. So, I mean, you're playing it basically how I originally saw it being played, perhaps with the foveated render and a few little tweaks on some of the texture models and things like that. But I'm glad you finally got to experience it how I did originally.
This is the point, though, isn't it, as well, to make out, because there's a lot of people that are sceptical that there ever were 2 versions, but you've seen it, Lee, haven't you? You played it on PD's, then you played it on Lee's. Rogers, So
and you saw the difference. But this is the thing. We keep saying 2 versions, and that is absolutely not necessarily the case.
No, it's the only
it could
version,
be a hardware. It could be because of hardware revisions on the machine. We just don't know.
Which is why I'm trying to get an interview with Alejandro to find out.
It just seems really odd that there'd be 2 different versions propagated to the PlayStation Store, because I'm pretty...
No.
I very much doubt that's ever happened before, and I don't see why it'd happen now. It's got to be something to do with hardware.
It's a bizarre situation, and just for anybody that doesn't know, so Alejandro is the lead dev on Switchback. Is that right, Lee?
Yeah, that's right. So
Lee's
well,
trying to get an interview, just get to the bottom of this, because the problem is it's causing issues for content creators. We've said this before. There was a lot of hate where people were saying, how can you say that the graphics are good and this kind of stuff? But if on their version that they were playing, and I've not seen it, but Lee, you have, and that's the thing.
It's a massive difference.
Yeah,
massive.
So a bizarre
and I've even seen
situation.
them getting hate as well since they've released the patch. I mean, I did DM me Alejandro and say, once they released the patch, he kind of went cold turkey on social media for a bit because he was worried about people's reactions, and I can perfectly understand that, because I mean, it's still getting hate saying, "Oh yeah, finally, this is what the game should have been released like in the first place." But thanks.
Yeah.
And you think, well, this is the game that they did release originally.
From their point of view.
From their point of vw, they had no issues with it. This is what I keep trying to get across. It's, you can't blame the devs for that if they didn't know there was an issue there in the first place.
And you've mentioned this, Lee, as well, but the studio, they took the game to separate to their own houses to try on their own PS5s, and some of them had the issue and some of them didn't. So this is, it's just a really weird situation.
I should still try. I might message Alejandro again, and I know he did. He was quite open to coming on and to talking to me. So we'll have to see how busy he's been. I know he's been doing a few videos on Twitch. I've been watching him on Twitch play a few games, and I mean, he's a genuine, one of the nicest people I've ever met. And so hopefully, I can try and get something out.
Yeah,
of him.
the only thing I can think that is that if they're only allowed to say so much, because
I would have thought so. Yeah, in case, definitely. Yeah.
But anyway, if anybody out there is held up on it because of what was going off from a graphical point of view, that's being fixed. So there's no worries. There's no worries in.
And I really like the game as well. I thought it was great fun. So if you like a good blaster on rails, just shooting and firing your guns off, guns akimbo style, then you'll definitely enjoy it.
I actually had to turn down. I think I was just saying it before we came on. It's like I had to turn down the haptic feedback because it actually It did my knuckles in. It absolutely did my knuckles. Or did I say that at the start?
You said that.
Yeah, you mentioned it before I started recording,
Yeah, was it before I started? Oh, wow.
You need some new knuckles.
I need a new memory. But the knuckles on my left hand, they couldn't keep up. Absolutely killing. I literally had to turn the feedback down, because once you get into, some areas do become relentless. Sometimes it's like there's nothing happening, and other times you just literally can't stop firing. And bizarrely, it wasn't my trigger finger. It was the knuckles on me, sort of like my little finger and my ring finger. It's like just absolutely killed. Yeah. Really, really bizarre.
I'll have to try it next time I come up, Rog, just so I can give 100% clarity of what difference it looks now compared to what it used to. Plus, I've got a little gift for you I need to bring up as well.
Ooh.
Yes, presents.
Ooh. Oh. I will
mention it, keep everybody in suspense. It's not that impressive, trust me, but I think you might like it.
Oh, I'll look forward to that anyway. But talking of things that I didn't really look forward to, which nearly gave me a flipping hernia the other day, which Lee can attest to on my absolute rant, trying to even get the thing working.
Yeah.
Right, okay, so Horizon Worlds. And there's been a bit of noise about this on Discord, etc., about this game in Horizon Worlds called Super Rumble, which is like a multiplayer shooter built in Horizon. And so we decided to jump into this, didn't we?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Well, eventually when we got it working.
So I didn't even have Horizon installed, so I reinstalled that. And what a nightmare. It's just whoever's in charge of the interface and the onboarding process for Horizon should be fired. Absolutely fired. I imagine you had to turn your headphones down, didn't you, Lee?
Well, it's about 20 minutes. You kept cutting in, cutting out, and then logging in and logging out. So I thought, well, I don't know what's going off here.
Well, I'm just on about my sheer rant about.
Oh yeah, well, no, I might even put that out on video if people want to see Roger's rant. Let us know in the comments below, and I shall put that out on my channel.
I think. Oh dear. I think at one point you went, "Oh, I'm going to have to record this." I think that were even only halfway through.
Oh yeah.
It was overlaying menu over menu, trying to give me tutorials, telling me to click this, telling me to click that. I finally got rid of 2 of the messages that were on screen, and it was telling me now you can click on a world and go here, and nothing worked. Absolutely nothing worked. And what it had done, because obviously it's been goodness knows how long since I've even been into Horizon, so I couldn't even remember what it was to turn the menu on and off, even though it was telling me to actually click on something on the menu that was on the screen. But what it had done is opened like another dialog box up behind that with a continue button, but that was hidden behind the menu. Yeah, so I didn't even see that was there to click on it to get rid of it, which then made the rest of the menu work. It's like I was fuming. But anyway, yes, the reason we went into this in the first place was this Super Rumble game. And it's probably the best thing in there in Horizon. I know people have been... There's been, shall we say, a bit of hyperbolic sort of content, mentions on this, saying how amazing it is and it's brilliant and one of the best shooters on Quest. And it's like, no. It's
okay.
good.
Yeah.
It's good for Horizon. It's the best thing I've seen. The video what's on there at the minute wasn't
we'll talk about these other videos
later. If you're watching the video, there's various different things. We went into a few other things as well, but that Super Rumble thing, not bad. I think there was only 4 people in there, us 2 and a couple
there was
other
us
people
2 and people joined in, but I mean, if you get 6 of you, I think 6 of you can play it. You get 6 friends to jump in, it could be decent fun. Some of the weapons are overpowered. I mean, Roger's killing me constantly with rocket launchers, and I got my little pea shooter going, which wasn't the greatest, but I mean, we jumped in, there were 1 or 2 kids in there, and I mean, I don't know, 1 kid in there, I would say was, 3? Maybe 4. It was really young.
It was ridiculous.
He was complaining people trying to kill him. So I kind of wanted to protect this kid and try to find where he was so I could try and stop people from killing him, because I kind of felt a bit for him. But yeah, there was definitely a lot of kids in there. But no, graphically it's very pretty. How the guns load really good. You press like a button to reload it, and I think it's maybe kind of preempting some Quest 3 stuff, because at the beginning where it's telling you the commands to use on your controller, it's showing Quest 3 controllers, which I thought, oh, okay. So that's something new that they decided to put in there. But yeah, it's okay. I thought it could be a good fun for a Friday night, you and your mates playing, all having a blast with each other. But it's not the be-all and end-all massive, fantastic thing that I've been seeing people say on Twitter.
No, it needs... And because it's Horizon, it's still not exactly what you call flawless performance-wise either.
Yeah, it's quite
Each time
jerky,
you sort of like go between the menu or into the game or whatever, and you fire a weapon for the first time, there was that sort of like, I mean, it's probably not shader compilation pause, but it might be a loading thing. I don't know where it's loading and affecting or whatever. And there's that just slight pause, and it's like, oh, it's just really annoying. It kept doing that all the time.
Yeah, I think you can see it on the video where I do get some slight pauses as well. It was especially when you die and you reload back in, it tended to glitch a little bit, and more when I was moving about. I mean, I got snap turning on, but because smooth turning is that slow, it's
why
pointless.
Is smooth turning in Horizon so bad? I mean, if anybody knows if you can actually turn it up, tell me, because it's ridiculous. It's 1 speed and it's slow and it's awful. It just makes it unusable.
After all the fun we had in that, you can probably send the video now. We decided to go to this very pink water park that Rog wanted to go to. And,
of course I
did. We decided just to check a few more worlds out, right, just for a laugh. And we went on this, and we was getting a few, sliding down it. And I think Rog's quite having decent fun in this one. But the one after, we went into some sort of zombie apocalypse thing that was really bad.
That were awful,
And then went to the Titanic one, which you can catch on my channel. I don't like self-promoting, by the way, Gary. Cut this bit out. Which was just me and Rog kind of reenacting Rose and Jack. But that was a decent experience. I'm not like glorifying actually the disaster itself, but in Horizon that wasn't too bad. I didn't mind the Titanic thing at all. So
but it's just the rest of it. It's so jank. I mean, we did have a laugh. We had some good fun in these worlds, but
the toilet one.
Because we
didn't mention the toilet one.
It's like Manic Miner flying toilets for some reason. It was funny because it was that janky.
Don't you think
it has improved massively though as well? Sorry, Gary, go on.
No, I was just going to say that, because I think the end dream of Horizon will be where you can sort of go into all these separate games and that kind of stuff. And a lot of people were actually speculating that because Echo VR has been removed now.
Yeah.
And because all of these Horizon games are all built in Horizon, or based in that kind of building anyway, and they might add extra things beyond that, but they've all got this same aesthetic. And I think the dream will eventually be where you can go to these different things and you can just go and play Echo VR without exiting Horizon. But I don't know. Because people are speculating that it will appear again and it will be part of Horizon Echo VR, and I just don't understand. Or they'll make a version of it with this kind of aesthetic. I don't know. But yeah.
I mean, it's very Rec Room, isn't it? The shooter. If you like the Rec Room shooters, like the Laser Quest one, I really like that in Rec Room.
Paintball's good.
Yeah, very similar.
Yeah, but Laser Quest, and I'd say even Paintball is probably in Rec Room is better than this. Than this thing in Horizon. So yeah, we should jump into Rec Room at some point.
Well, I'm also paintball. I like paintball in Rec Room.
Have you not played the Laser Quest though?
No, I've not.
The Laser Quest is amazing.
No, I don't. No, I'm pretty.
Laser, is it
better than paintball?
We're calling it Laser Quest.
I think so,
laser. Is it laser tag?
Laser tag, something like that. I'm just thinking Laser Quest because that's what we used to call it here. We used to go play.
That's what we used to have. We used to have Laser Quest in the UK. Although when I was younger, I did actually have some proper laser tag guns as well. When I was a kid.
No, it's probably got like an 80s vibe to it, not early 90s, hasn't it? And all the lights and it looks really good.
We've got to go and jump into that.
Maybe I have to do that then.
It's so good. It's been so long since I've been in there as well.
Do you play on the Quest version now, or the PC version when you play it, or is there not a lot?
I used to play on the PC one.
Different.
There's the Quest version the performance wasn't quite there for me.
I'll play the PC version.
It was pretty good actually. When I went in, I jumped in a couple of weeks ago and played it, and it was pretty good on the Quest 2. I didn't really have any issues, but I mean, I suppose I could try it on the PC because I've got the Pico and see what it looks like PC wise as well.
Yeah,
I mean, I think I've got it on the Pico anyway. It's native on the Pico as well, so maybe I can jump in and try it.
Has it got crossplay?
I believe so. I'm sure Rec Room's got it. Yeah,
I think it has. I think the problem with it was some of the quests weren't available on the Quest because of performance. That's right. So not everything was available on mobile.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll change when Quest 3 comes along.
Yeah, maybe.
So but that's Horizon and Super Rumble, free to check out. So don't cost you out. Last game on the list. This is me. I only got into this one yesterday, but I played it until my controllers ran out, and that's The Room: A Dark Matter on PSVR 2. This is by Fireproof Games. It's £25. It's $30. Currently on sale on the UK store, at least, for just under £19 until August the 16th. This has been out on other platforms before. It's on Quest, it's on PC, it's on the original PSVR, I believe, because I think it actually, when I went to download it, it gave me an option of which one I wanted to download, and we did get sent a key for this. I was expecting to sort of think, this is okay, it's fine, it's a puzzle game. I played it yesterday, and then I went back in last night, and then I played it again until my controllers died, like I said. And I like it. I was surprised. I'm really surprised. It keeps you thinking. It keeps you moving between the puzzles and going backwards and forwards. And it's one of those. It's like, what have I missed? What have I missed? What have I missed? I guess it's like you'd class it as an escape room game. Yeah, you can move. There's move between rooms. It's node based. Right, this is the thing though. It is node based. It's teleportation only, and it's click turn only, which I was expecting to really not like, because it's like I like smooth locomotion.
Right, that explains something to me then. That explains why my missus and daughter like playing it, because they played the PC version to completion as well over 2 days, and I thought, they never like playing VR, so what's going off? So that's probably why they enjoyed it.
But the thing with it is, and it works from a puzzle point of view, because you'll do something on one puzzle. Something will open up, you'll get an object, you'll take that somewhere else, use it there, then off to somewhere else, and then back to the original place again. And you're moving between the various sort of locations quite a lot. And so when when something suddenly clicks and you think, I need to do that, I want to try it out, it's instant. It's like teleport, you're there, do it, teleport back, do it. If it was smooth locomotion, it would slow things down a lot, and it also, I think, it probably would make things more difficult because you wouldn't be limited to where you can look. With this, you can obviously only go to sort of like set locations, and those locations are generally important. Sometimes once you've absolutely finished with a puzzle at a certain place, that teleport location will then be gone, and you can't go back there. So it's like a good sort of, oh, I'm done with that. I can sort of like remove that bit from my thought process now. Doesn't always do that, not with everything, because some nodes are sort of like a waypoint to the, to further into the room or whatever. And yeah, it's basically, I think it's sort of early you're an early Victorian detective or something. A famous Egyptologist has gone missing in a British museum somewhere, and you're sent off to, you go off to find him. Things instantly take a sort of a supernatural sort of turn, and apparently you're perfectly fine with this. So there is a bit of a story there. It's not a very big setup though. The setup for the story is basically a small tutorial level, and then you're done, and then you're into the first main level. I would have actually liked a bit more story. I think a bit more of a setup. Sometimes these things can go on for too long, and you want to just get into the game. This could have just done with that a little bit more, I think. And now, I know there's previous games in this series, and the mobile games. Now, this isn't a port of one of the mobile games. Apparently, it is a brand new game built for VR. They've not just ported one of their existing ones. But I've absolutely no clue what the other games are like. I've never played any of them, so I don't know if the character is supposed to be from those games or not. Whether there's a continuation of something somehow, I don't know. I just wish there was a bit more of a setup. Aside from that, yeah, it's fine. Graphics are nice. Not, they're not Red Matter 2 standard or anything, but it does appear to be 120 hertz native.
I was going to ask about that, because on the footage it's really smooth, and I was thinking it's either reprojected or it's native 120, because
so it's native 120. So when you obviously, unlike Red Matter, which when you try and record it, for some reason it can't do a 60 FPS capture.
Oh,
this
right.
did. Yeah, Red Matter 2 for some reason it won't capture at 60 FPS, and we thought, people going, maybe it's a limit of the rendering at 120. It can't capture 60 FPS video. This does.
What if you record Red Matter, does it record at 30 then on
Yes.
PS? So I'm wondering if that's based on them really maxing out the performance of the PS5 in the game itself, and just limiting
down the recording settings.
Maybe they have control over that or something like that.
Maybe. But yeah, because initially I thought, is it 90? But when you look at the video, it's obviously not 90, because I can tell 90 FPS recorded video from PS VR2 in an instant.
Yeah,
because it's not right. It's not smooth. It's better than 30 FPS, but it's just not. It's not 60. You can see it. So yeah, graphically nothing to complain about. I won't go too much into it just because of spoilers. And although if you're watching the video, then maybe some. Yeah, it's just nice. It plays with, without spoiling it too much, without spoiling any of the details, it plays with scale, which is always a good thing in VR. And I was just really surprised. And definitely for just £18.74 at the UK store, at least at the moment, for the next week and a half. Yeah, but pick it up.
Is it the same version as the PC version then, but just ported across to PSVR2, or have they done any enhancements? Do we know of? Or
I don't know. I don't know what enhancements wise they've done anything.
Isn't it, as the PC version?
It might be the same game as the PC. Yeah. Maybe it's the PSVR original PSVR version ported across. But obviously, the res has been upped. Because I've no complaints about the resolution. Again, it's not Red Matter 2 res, but nothing else is.
I think we tried to recommend this to you, Gary. I think, didn't we? Because I know you like your escape games, but I think there's a bit of a horror theme. But there's some horror theme bits in it. I think
I've had my eye on it for a long time. The Quest version, is that the same game basically as the PC version? Is that right? Or
I think so. Yeah.
So I've considered it a few times actually, but mainly because my wife has asked for escape room games in VR. That's the only thing that she's really interested in playing. But I always had the impression that this was a bit more horror based. But maybe looking at the video, it doesn't look too.
Yeah,
There are
I don't know
elements of it, I think, aren't there? But
Yeah,
not
well,
a lot.
there's supernatural elements.
Yeah.
But there's no jumps. Well, as much as I've seen, I'm probably I don't know how long this game is. I've heard people say it's like 3, 5, 6 hours. So I suppose it depends on whether you get stuck. And I have become annoyingly stuck on stupid little things twice. It's not the complex stuff; it's the little things where you just overlooked things. It's really annoyed me, and I won't say what they are because of spoilers, and somebody out there might nicely get stuck on those exact same spots. But I say I've had about 3 hours on it so far, and I literally stopped playing last night because I'd not charged my controllers from the day before, so I got about 3 hours out of them. I'd picked up Moss as well on PSVR 2 during the sale, and I'd been playing that, and I'd not charged the controllers, so my controllers ran out, and I want to jump back into it again this evening because it just. I don't know what it is. It just hits the right buttons for me. I really like it, and I absolutely recommend it. On another note, we do have 2 keys for this to give away as well.
Yep.
The devs did send 3 keys over, one for us and 2 to give away. So thank you very much for that. That does not influence my opinion on this. If I thought it was crap, I'd say so. So we have got 2 keys to give away. We will sort that out in the comments and possibly on Twitter.
Or maybe flash them up on screen, something like, what did we do last time? Remember? But we're not very good at these key giveaways, by the way. So
No, we should have organised this. If we're going to flash it up on the screen, I need to have somewhere. We should have prepared this. But
we'll just give it away. If you want to get a chance of winning one of these, then at the very least drop a comment in the YouTube video saying I'd like to win a copy.
Exactly that. We'll draw it at random.
Yeah, we'll put a post on Twitter.
Since I'm not such a fan of Twitter nowadays, since it's gone to X. Never mind, it's a totally different podcast. But yeah, maybe just drop a comment, and if you're interested in winning a key, let us know, and then we'll sort it out. This is,
as far as we know, UK/EU keys.
Yeah, there'll be
because
I'm pretty sure that. So I'll email the guy back just to confirm this. But he sent 3 codes through. Rog used one of them and said that the other 2 can be used as a giveaway. So Rog used it. It's an EU code, so presumably the other 2 are as well. But I'll try to get some confirmation on that. So I
presume these are our PSVR2 keys that we are giving away, Gary, because we've not got a PSVR2 yet. So giving it something back to the fans. You're welcome.
The PR guy did say it's for a giveaway. So we'll use it for that.
So as far as we know, UK/EU. Errors and omissions exempt. You can't blame us if it doesn't work for you. There you go.
No, we're running a shoddy outfit here, really. I mean,
we are. We absolutely are. Oh dear. And I think that's it. Unless anybody's got any other games they want to throw in there, that's everything on the list.
Yeah, I think we're about done with that part of it.
Yeah. So, I mean, the news from the past couple of weeks has been a few bits and pieces. I think the main sort of news really is that MetaConnect will be taking place next month on the 27th and 28th. It's virtually only. There's no in-person event taking place, so it's all online.
I thought actually,
limited people or something.
Yeah,
hey?
There is a limited in-person event as well. So I think it's for. Because there was a bit of confusion about this originally. I think people were saying that it was not.
Everybody's. I've seen when people saying, "How is this not an in-person event?" You know.
But I think they've since announced that there is a limited in-person thing. I think where they're doing demos of the Quest 3 and stuff, I believe. But we've not got a huge amount of details on that really at the moment. Anyway.
Right.
I can't watch that for 2 days. I'm sorry, I'm not sitting on my PC watching Zuckerberg talk for 2 days or show like legs and things. What it never happens, or perhaps a GTA release soon. Who knows?
It'll be all on the first day anyway. They'll have the keynote, and that's all we need to pay attention to, I suppose.
Yeah. So that's at the end of next month. Upload actually popped an article on the other day as well, talking about the Quest 3 and the Touch Plus controllers as well from the week before, which have received their FCC regulatory certification, which is basically is required to sell anything with like what's got wireless tech in it in the US. So that they've got to go to sell the Quest 3. So hopefully that means it won't be long. I still, do you think it's going to, and I think we keep going over this.
2 weeks after, I think.
Do you think it's a few weeks after, you reckon?
I reckon mid-October it'll say, like, pre-orders now for delivery on the 16th or
I'm with you.
I reckon it'll be something like that.
I think there's got to be a pre-order announcement. Have
a guess on the date. Let us know in the comments. What date do you think the Quest 3 will be released?
And you've also got a chance of winning some Room VR keys then as well. So I was going to say on this because they did also say that the Quest 3. I don't know if you're going to get to this, Rog, but the it's got the Wi-Fi 6E, so it's got the 6 gigahertz band as well, which was interesting. So I'm going to have to do an upgrade on my router, I think, because I want to try that. I've only
got 5.
Yeah, 6 gig Wi-Fi. I think people are going to really be looking forward to that.
It'd be nice for virtual desktop. And it'll jump from about 800 to about 1200. Probably maybe even more. So you'll get some decent bandwidth with that.
Yeah, might do.
Maybe even more than 12.
Yeah. The other news as well with the Touch Plus controllers, we now know are definitely going to be using a single battery like normal Touch controllers. So yay, I'm happy for that.
I'm happy with that.
I do not want built-in batteries on the controllers. No. Thank you very much.
They last such a long time as well. You put that AA battery
forever on the Quest.
Fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, it's just tracking slightly different this time, isn't it, on these Touch Plus controllers? So maybe it's not going to be as long, but who knows? Yeah. But using a decent AA rechargeable is generally always better than having crappy built-in batteries. Like I say, last night my PS VR2 controllers ran out, and then that's it. Can't do anything. I can't play anymore.
From the Quest and the Rift S, how poorly they were compared to what they are now. I mean, even my Pico 4, I'm on the original battery still. Crazy.
Bonkers, it is, Yeah,
it is crazy. Going back, some slightly older news, which this should have been covered if we'd have done a podcast last time, but the super resolution upscaling has now got native support on Quest. This is basically the native support for the same thing that Guy Godin stuck in Virtual Desktop a while back, which is Qualcomm's Snapdragon Game Super Resolution, which is basically upscaling an image to make it look nicer. So yes, this is on Quest. Devs can actually enable it in Unity selectively, depending on what they're rendering. And I think for Airlink, if you go into the Oculus debug tool, one of the streaming options, you turn it up to quality, and then it'll use this new super resolution mode instead of sort of normal sort of like bilinear filtering, upscaling, or whatever it currently uses.
It's on the sharpening setting, so you've got a few options under there. Yeah, if you select the quality, then it will do this. But I've done that. Have you tried this? Because I didn't notice a massive difference.
I've not tried it. No.
And it's maybe not. It might not be a massive difference either. So that's the thing. But
I'd like to look clearer in Walkabout Mini Golf, which we'll probably talk about later on. I don't know if it's just the placebo effect, but I said to you, Royce, have they upscaled this? Because it seems to be a lot clearer. I can see clearly now the rain is gone. So I don't know. I've got that rain looking out window and chucking it down. So but I thought it looked a lot clearer and a lot sharper on some of the edges, and even some of the distance looks quite clearer on the game we were playing on Walkabout Mini Golf. So maybe they've activated that on. I don't know.
I just tried it on the on Airlink really. So I was changing the settings and just trying to see and rebooting and stuff and seeing if it made any difference. I didn't notice a lot, but maybe like I say, it's more subtle than that anyway.
But it's like if you're on is it V56 you've got to be on to get this super resolution?
I believe so.
The firmware, is it?
Yeah. Oh, is it 55? It might be 55.
Oh, it could be 55.
Yeah.
So most people should at least be on 55 now, I would have thought.
55
hopefully.
Should be the generally released one now. 56 is the current public test channel release. But other sort of news what made it into everybody's consciousness was Roblox being released on Quest. And I noticed it says that there's 1 million downloads in the first 5 days on Quest Pro. And I noticed that there's been an addendum that Lee wasn't one of those.
No, definitely not.
No,
I've not bothered checking this out myself. I did look at several videos. I know, sort of like, I think GT and was it Benjo's done videos on it, and and it just looked awful.
Performance-wise, it's really bad at the minute. I think PD did a video as well and said it's he felt quite motion sick doing it. I mean, that's PD, so I don't know what frame rate they're running it at. I've no idea, but it's super early again. So I don't know why they keep doing this, releasing them when they're not really in playable states, but they obviously wanted to get it out there. And if 1 million people have downloaded it, perhaps they're finding some enjoyment out of it at least anyway. But it's definitely not something I play. But it'll be one for the kids, and that's what they're wanting, isn't it? That's why they've loaded it down to 10 years old and stuff. Yeah,
maybe that squeaker who was in our Horizon shooty game went off and played Roblox instead. I
didn't mention that daft story when I jumped in before Ross because Roger was still trying to log in, right? And bear in mind, I've been on Horizon like 3 times ever. As soon as I jumped in that shooting game, it came up with someone you've blocked is in this game. I thought,
oh yeah,
and I could hear this child, should I say, rather loud and rather squeaky, and I thought it's got to be him. And of all how many people, millions, how many Quest 2s have been sold now? And I jump in the exact same world where that dude is too.
It's like, it does make you wonder how many people are actually using it, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's
what I was thinking. Really odd.
What's the chance of that happening?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. Anyway, so
Roblox, everybody, great.
Yeah, Roblox. It's free to check out on AppLab if you want to. There you go. There's something I've put down here. I could have put it in the games I've been playing section, and I just really didn't want to. I was really looking forward to this, and that's InRun by Ivanovich Games. It's on Steam. There's a demo available. It's also on Quest. I've played the demo on Steam. I picked up the Quest version to see what it looked like, and if anybody who's listened to this podcast for a while will probably or may know that I'm sort of a fan of Ivanovich Games. I like their stuff. Back to Midway and Midway Multiverse particularly. These guys their sort of speciality is taking like an old arcade idea or concept or specific game and making sort of like, I'll say knockoff version, inspired by version of whatever game they've chosen. And so InRun is obviously Outrun. And this is in no way, shape or form Outrun. No. At all.
Looking at the video.
Not remotely. Yeah. The front cover artwork they've got for this is the closest thing it gets to being Outrun. This is not fun at all.
Oh, that's a shame.
I'm really massively disappointed in this, and it's the first time I can say that about one of their games. Really, it's just there's no feel to it. There's no soul to it. It'll tell you to basically. It'll give you a task to achieve, and it might be overtake X amount of cars, or jump off a launch pad and land on top of so many cars, or take out so many cop cars. And it just feels generic. It doesn't feel fun. The tasks it gives you, say it's like overtake 25 cars, you'll get up to like 18 or 20 cars, and all of a sudden the traffic density will increase tenfold, making it all but impossible. And if you hit another car, it resets your counter. And it's just like, who designed this? This is rubbish.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm proper disappointed.
I watched this video that you sent over, because we were going to talk about this on the last show as well, and I watched this video and I was thinking, this just doesn't look like anything that I want to try. Based on
I've seen videos on it too, and it just it doesn't interest me either.
I was just thinking, I hope they're not getting to the stage now where they're just going through the motions of doing a game based on like some kind of 80s IP and not putting the thought in that they did in the earlier ones, because some of the earlier ones are great. They are, and this one doesn't look like anything to me that I want to play at all.
No, I mean, all the other cars on the road are just like these almost silhouette like generic looking things, and it's just like this is it's just poor. I'm really gutted. What I want to know is what happened to Echo Wars Road Rage, which is the demo they put out.
Yeah.
What, 6 months ago now?
Yeah.
End of last year or something. And I liked that. I thought it needed work, but I actually liked that. And that was where you basically, it's a first-person shooter. You're sat in a buggy driving along a road and shooting stuff. But yeah, that one I was sort of looking forward to.
That was on Steam Next Fest, I think. I played or tried to. I had issues playing that. I think it was just something with my setup, to be honest. But I just couldn't get it working in VR properly. But that one, at least I know that you like that. We spoke about that on the show as well.
Yeah, and it looked decent as well, you know. For a VR game, shall we say? Yeah. Whereas InRun, it's just. I'm proper disappointed. Yeah. Echo Wars, please make that your priority. Let's have a look at that, you know. Which apparently it's still got a planned release date of 2023 according to its Steam page. The demo's still there. But yeah, this InRun suddenly appeared and they seem to be running with that one at the moment, so who knows. Anyway, moving on. I Expect You to Die 3 launching on Quest on August the 17th and on PC on Steam on September the 28th. I mean, I only ever played some of the first one. And yeah, it was fine. It was good. It just never grabbed me enough to sort of finish it or play the second one. But it's a nice, very sort of competent, seated, puzzle escape room game. Number 3.
Yeah, there's not a lot to say beyond that, really. I think they're adding a mixed reality mode as well. I saw a trailer.
I saw a trailer for that, as well. Didn't they put it on the YouTube?
Didn't they release some sort of demo for that, for the Quest Pro? Like a mini demo of something like that, where you were inside a box.
I think you could play it on the Quest 2 as well, I think. Yeah,
right.
I think it was the same thing, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, as I say, I presume if you're a fan of the first two, you'll be looking forward to this one.
I do like the cinematic beginnings to the game. I've only ever played the demo of the second one, but it's very James Bondy,
harks
back to that,
yeah, sort of James Bondy, Austin Powersy sort of, I
really enjoyed the demo. I know my daughter played the first one; she really liked that on the Pico, or part of the first one. Yeah. You say puzzle escape room games, and it's definitely one for newbies. If you're new to VR, it's something to consider, because you're not really moving around. So you sort of bring things to you while you're teleporting objects to you with your controllers. So definitely give it a go if you're new to VR.
You're not going to make anybody ill if you put them in something like that for the first game.
I think they would quite enjoy it as well.
It's a good first experience. Yeah, good first experience, definitely. Crisis Brigade 2 coming to PSVR 2 in September. I really enjoyed this on Quest. It's basically a time crisis style game. Easiest way to describe it, really. You sort of teleport from point to point, shoot a wave of stuff, then go on to the next one. You can play it co-op, and it's good. I recommend this on Quest. If you've never played it before, it's decent. PSVR 2 version. Hopefully, I mean, we don't know anything about it sort of from a performance point of view, but you've got to expect they must be able to get this running at a decent frame rate, because it's fine on Quest.
Yeah.
So come on, 120 Hz mode on PSVR 2, please. And I won't mind checking that out if assuming it's not reprojected.
It used to be like App Lab, didn't it, as well? On the Quest, it used to be like, I think, was it the first one on App Lab or the second one, and then they put it to pay, didn't they?
It was Crisis Brigade,
that's
VR
it,
Gade.
That's it.
I was just going to say, because I think you mentioned that last time we spoke about this, Rog, but any developer trying to shoehorn VR into a title just doesn't work. It didn't work with that. It was so difficult to pronounce. Crisis Brigade. Yeah, I didn't like that.
But Crisis Brigade 2 on sort of any platform, really. If you want an arcade time crisis style shooter, and it's not an easy one, it's a challenge. It's good. Yeah, go check it out on whatever platform you're on. And if you wait for it on PSVR 2, you've got a decent little game coming. So Walkabout Mini Golf came out with Laser Lair a while back now, and we've all been in that.
And you can just see Gary's ball getting cut in two there. There we go.
Oh, excellent. Thank you for that.
That's not a video.
Oh dear. Again, the environment's really good.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
But Tropical Island.
Yeah. The actual course itself, at least on the easy course, I'd say it's weak. It's one of the weakest. They've like, oh look, we've got a laser sort of gadget. We're going to use it now for every single course, and the actual holes themselves, they're just not imaginative. They're not. They're just. It's the weakest one.
It seems like they are every hole. I don't know. This might not be the case, but it feels like every hole to me. It was all timing based.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Timing, power, angles for every single one, really. But then you could even negate some of that. Spoiler alert, and I don't want to diss the game because I'm one of the biggest fans going, but some of the obstacles or the lasers, you could just hit it around the sides. Depends what the shape of the hole was, and you could just totally miss them altogether. So that kind of, got away from the laser part of it, which I guess was the main part of the game anyway. But yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so there's 2 new clubs on this one as well, though, isn't there? I know you went and got the first one, and then we jumped in to get I think it's the cat. It's like a cat hunt, isn't it?
Oh yeah, one of the clues for the cat one. I'm not going to tell you which one it is, but man, there's no way on earth you would guess that. But yeah. Maybe it's just us. Maybe it's because it was late.
The amount of times we walked past it as well.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like unbelievable. It was literally there, and it's like, oh, good grief, yeah. But so that
there's some good bits on it. I mean, I like the monorail and stuff. You can jump on a monorail, ride that round. You can jump. There's a boat what comes round, like very James Bondish, like the wooden boat you used to be able to see him in. And you can go around the island on that, and it's very pretty looking. I prefer the hard course.
The hard mode is better.
Yeah,
it's still not great, but it's better. But saying all that, again, it's £3. It's still absolutely worth it.
Yeah,
definitely. It's like It's just this is a course I'd only ever play if I was playing with other people. If I decided to jump in for 10 minutes just to have a quick blast on mini golf myself,
I think it's the most frustrating course so far they've brought out. You'll get frustrated very, very easily playing this one.
I feel like they just had this. They didn't necessarily take advantage of the laser gimmick enough, other than to do timing based stuff. Really, the lasers are just obstacles, or you have to time your shot. That's all it is.
Yeah, there's like the lasers as well. It's just basically the same thing again and again and again. Like we said, they could have done different effects with the lasers. Maybe you could have had a laser bridge to go across what was going on, as an example, just something else, but it was just the same basic sort of thing. Okay, the lasers are moving on some of the courses, but it's still on some of the holes, but it was still basically the same.
But it's still good.
But it's still good. The environment it's a great environment.
It is,
I like the environment. Yeah, absolutely.
Very 60s, 70s themed.
Yes,
another thing like James Bond type thing, isn't it? It's really
it's like The Incredible. It's straight out The Incredibles.
Yeah. Yes,
absolutely.
I can remember saying when we played the hard level, I think Roger got like -6, and I meant there's no way detriment to Roger because he's brilliant at this game anyway. It couldn't have been that hard then. I didn't mean that horrible, but I just thought, well, if it's like -6, it's surely they must, they're not really made them as hard.
We played it again the other night, and I think how many over were we?
Like,
we were ridiculously
over. So
that first game of mine was a total and utter fluke. I've no idea. It's like
I also got -17 playing with the VR CGI crew, which was a total fluke as well. And they kept saying, "Look, you're not playing no more." And I'm like, "Look, this is a total anomaly. You can ask Rog, you can ask Gary. There's no way I get -17." And I even got 5 on one hole too.
Oh man, but yeah.
Anyway. You just hustle everyone, Lee, I reckon.
There's no way.
This is what you're all leading up to.
No, I am the original #pro gamer, trust me. And I think a couple of times, I think when we played with PDs as well, didn't I, Roger? I think on the town and the Upside Town one, I got like -60 or something stupid. And it's just bizarre. They're just the one-offs sometimes that we get. And I know Roger likes my hole-in-ones especially as well.
I've got some of these actually on video, ready to go.
I try and record that. I think
I'm going to show one now. Actually,
that one I did send one to you, which was, I believe it was, what's the submarine one?
This one, what's this one?
Yeah, 20,000 League. So as you can see, it's hitting the fans there, and it goes straight in the hole. And we cut to Rog, who was extremely impressed with that shot.
He loved it, didn't he? I bet.
But Rog does hole-in-ones all the time. It never records them, but it's just funny when I do them because he knows I've definitely not played for that in a million years.
But then I've got this one for Rog as well. So what's this one?
Oh yeah, that one too. Yeah, when Rog kept his finger held on the trigger button for about 3 hours before it started to slowly roll back.
Slowly went down, and there we go.
I mean, I'll shake my head at that one. They're great. It is good when you get them fluke shots like that. It's really fun.
Oh, well. Anyway, I think that's enough of our contractual obligation to talk about Walkabout mini golf.
Yeah, how are we not getting paid for this? This is
I
unbelievable.
could talk about Walkabout mini golf all day, to be fair. It's my favourite game by miles.
Okay, anyway, last one on the upcoming new releases, what we've got put down on here, I think, is this is Riese Project, the Riese Project. This one's yours, Lee. Go for it.
Yeah, I've seen a bit of this on Twitter. I saw it just like a random tweet a couple of months back, and it was intriguing me because they was bringing it in Unreal 5, and I think they've got all the Lumite. Is it Lumite? I'm probably saying that wrong. All the lighting.
Lumen.
Yeah, Lumen, sorry, and the shading. Yeah, that's it. You got it, Rog. Don't go passing it over to me. Should have kept on. Right. Yeah, so it looks like another puzzle game. I think it's kind of based on some sort of real events. And if you go to the actual, I think it's realinvented.studio.pl, it could be that, is the main web page. And you can see where they've actually took near enough exact copies of the real life buildings and incorporated them into the game. It looks like it's about £12.50, something around about that price. And this is the prologue to an actual game they are, I think, going to continue bringing out. So, yeah, go check it out. I wanted to see what Unreal 5 looks like on PC VR and how good that looks. I've not had a chance to try it yet. I'm hoping to pick it up soon, and then I could probably give some more detail on it next time I play. But the few people I have seen on the Steam seem to quite like it. So we'll have to wait and see how good that one turns out to be.
£12.79 on Steam. But they call it a prologue, though, so it's like, how long is it? That's the only...
I don't know. I'm not sure of the total length of it, but it just intrigued me. It's more of like a puzzle thing. And I did like how you could pick things up as well. From what I saw on the YouTube trailer, you could pick everything up, and I'm big into that. I'm big into fans of being able to interact.
I'd say having played the Room the other day. Now this all of a sudden, I'm sort of suddenly more interested in sort of
This might be one for you then, Rog.
In this, maybe.
It's real events inspire the story about it. So yeah,
I don't think my graphics card will run it.
It does look pretty good on the screenshots I can see. I don't know. I mean, the real world pictures they've got coming up to the real game, it's exactly the same based on real locations. Highly detailed photo scans of objects. Created dedicated in-game OS system for a deeper experience. Yeah. Puzzle kind of escape type thing, maybe.
Is this your footage, Lee? Or is this...
No, that's actually from the trailer that they put out, the game footage.
Yeah, well, because the performance is not great on this capture. I'm just wondering how well it does run, actually. It'd be interesting.
You can see some juggerness
it looks great.
On
the
there.
Graphics.
I'm surprised they're using Lumen and Nanite for VR because
it's going to take some serious processing power.
Yeah, but I thought it was still a bit of an issue with VR. But I'm not up to date with.
This is why I was checking it out because it's Unreal 5. I think I really wanted to see how it would look. But I may even struggle to run it on my PC, so it might even be one for Gary to try again. But
I think I might be struggling to run it as well.
It looks interesting. I've not seen many videos on it either, so if anyone's tried it, let us know again in the comments. And I'm going comment heavy this week.
It does look good. I mean, the lighting and everything looks great. So we'll see.
But from an Unreal Engine 5 Lumen Nanite powered game to a mod for a very old game, and that's the original Far Cry. Somebody called
Kabbalistic,
has released a VR mod for the OG Far Cry game. I did have a look at this when it was on. I think it was version 0.1 I looked on. I think it's on 0.3 now. Original Far Cry in VR. It's still early alpha, but looks like it might get there. I'm sort of I'm holding off now until there's like a proper, what you would consider a proper, final maybe ish release. I tried it on mine. It seemed to run good. It's been a long time since I've played the original Far Cry.
That's some years old, right?
First time I played that you start off on an inside location, and it was one of those first games where you're walking along, and I think there's like is it overhead fluorescent lighting? There's something that's casting some moving real-time sort of lights and shadows on the floor, and at the time that was like, whoa, that's mind-blowing, moving shadows from a light source, incredible. If you just Google Far Cry VR mod, you'll find videos. I think PD and everybody else has put videos out on it. Yeah. The first actual link will take you to the GitHub page where you can just download it and have a look yourself. Just get a copy of Far Cry on Steam or whatever, and you drop the files in there and you can give it a go. Yeah,
I've not got a video on this on the screen at the minute, but I've not watched any videos on this either. But is it motion controllers? Is it got motion controller support, or is it gamepad?
The version 0.1 was keyboard and mouse. I'm trying to remember if I did read if 0.3 I started to get motion controllers in. I can't remember. Yeah, I don't know if I'm confusing that with something else or not.
Don't know. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Okay.
As I say, it's a pretty new mod anyway, so it's early on, but yeah, check it out if you want a bit of nostalgia there. Other news: Vertigo 2 is getting a PS VR2 port. That'll be interesting to see. I hope it gets some game balance in as well. It's difficulty-wise, I think we all agree it was a little bit.
I'm sure they bought a patch on the PC version because people were saying, "Look, I've got to this fire monster." I think mainly me.
No, it's me as well. I tell you,
I can't get past this fire monster.
It's a shame because I do. The thing is, people say you've got to get good. That's the thing, and it just takes me. The problem is, I want to play this, and I just get frustrated. That's the thing. Yeah. If I'm doing the same thing again and again, and I'm just getting frustrated, I don't know. It's there's a
difference with a game where difficulty ramps up and expect you sort of gradually you improve as the difficulty goes along, and then a game where I'm doing okay here. Oh, brick wall.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because
exactly.
For no reason.
Yeah.
It took me about 3 hours to get out the corridor before the lava monster thing, and I was about ready to give up then because that was ridiculous.
That was difficult. That was a difficult part, but I wasn't at the point where I am now, and it's just like you say, Rog. It's more like I was fine with the challenge, but once you get to a certain point, it's just frustrating that you just can't get past this part, and I'm just not good enough. I mean, that's what it comes down to.
I mean, this is basically a solo developer, isn't it? It's one guy has done this, and I think that difficulty balancing. I think that's a problem when you have a solo developer doing something like this. Okay, I'm sure he'll have been getting feedback and whatever, but because he's just like one sort of person, and he knows that game inside out, there's no sense of actual difficulty and proper progression that's needed.
Yeah.
Even that, he must have been getting some feedback. Surely he must have had testers.
I'm sure I've read that he's patched it a bit to make those bits easier. I think he's even altered some of the modes, so you could have it like a super story mode or something. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to alter it down. I want to go through. I want to play it on as it's intended to play. But
I've gone down to easy on it. I've had to on that boss. I've had to go down to easy.
Yeah, well, that was. I mean, I think I put a clip out on. I might even put it on RECENTERED where I just kept going, having a great day, fighting the fire lava monster, and I was dead within like 2 seconds. I couldn't even respawn without being. I was like, right, where am I now? Which bit am I? Boom, dead. That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I've heard it's a great game. Yeah. I've heard it's such a fantastic game to play, but I just can't get in. I've got to try and go back in there and spend God knows how many hours trying to get past that monster. And do I have the energy to do it?
This is the frustration because we've got so much else to play as well. You think, why am I banging my head against a brick wall here when I've got other stuff that I want to play? Even though this is great. But the part where I'm at the moment, it's not great anymore. I've done it. I've seen everything there. I've done everything that I can do, and I just need to get better. And I know it comes down to practice, and I need to just get better. But I think there's an element of it just ramping up too quickly. Definitely that needs to be resolved, honestly. But that's just me. I need to get good. That's what it is.
Yeah. So
I'll never get good, dude. It's been 30 years. It's been like 40 years. I'm not going to get no better.
No, that's it. It's a slow decline now, isn't it? We can't get any
worse,
better.
If anything.
Well, look at me. I can't play anything without my knuckles seizing up. It's like,
Roger's Scott, his knuckles don't work, and
I rigged my neck the other day really bad. It really hurt for ages. I was like, well, that's it. I'm screwed for VR now for a couple of days, aren't I?
Oh man, it sucks, doesn't it? Yeah. It really sucks.
Do you know how I did that, by the way? This is going to make you laugh because it made the rest of my family laugh. I was brushing my teeth I was brushing my teeth and I ripped my neck brushing my teeth. Oh, absolute nightmare.
I can remember years ago, when I used to work for Tesco's, I used to be a delivery driver. I pulled my bike, and I've never been in so much pain. I pulled my bike getting a bottle of milk out the fridge. And as I went to get up, and that rent, I couldn't move. I was like, oh, I can't move my back. And I had to go out and deliver like that, like the Hunchback of Notre Dame. And I was like that for 3 months. I was like that for. It took me ages to get back to normal.
Oh man, it's terrible, isn't it? It really is terrible.
It is.
Can we have people out there sympathy, please?
Yeah. It's just such a hassle. I've got all this hardware I've got to review as well.
Just put a violin over this bit.
The pain of it all. So Lee, you've been chilling out watching films in VR.
Yes, it's Moon Player. I believe this is available also on the Quest 2. I think it says it's free, but then, there's some sort of subscription or something, but it's just a one-off payment, and I think it was like £7. It might be maybe £7 or £8 on the Pico store. It had just been released for the Pico, and I got like a 20% discount because I got some sort of voucher for summertime play or something. Dr. Oculus told me about it anyway. I got this voucher, but I applied it on that, and I really wanted some decent player so I could stream my movies from my PC to the Pico, because I don't think there really is one apart from Virtual Desktop, and I wanted to give this a try, and yeah, it's fantastic. It's the clearest I've seen in a media player for definite. You've got like different settings, so I put it on the highest setting. I'm literally sat across from my PC anyway, so I don't think there'll be any trouble with streaming it. And the environments, I think there's one in the stars, there's a plain black one, and there's also a passive mode, which I thought that were brilliant because I could see the surroundings where I am and see if anyone's coming in. But I had the screen so it like looked from the bottom of the floor to the ceiling. And when you're watching 3D movies on it, it was brilliant. So I couldn't recommend it enough. And I even put a tweet out saying, wow, this Moon Play is great. It's fantastic. I've had a really good time watching films on it. And the developers actually DM'd me to thank me for saying that. So that was quite nice of them to do. So Moon Play, it's like £7. Go pick it up on the Pico store. It even brings like all the catalogue down or everything you've got to play. And it's got some really nice environments on it. So yeah, go check it out. There's audio tracks. You can alter subtitles. You can alter the size of it. You can alter everything. And the controls of it, I kind of put them to one side, to the side of me. Yeah. And you can move them around as well. It was really, really good. Yeah, definitely recommend it.
One day I'll have a headset where I'm comfortable enough to just sit there and, actually watch a movie in VR, because nothing I've owned has been good enough for that for me. It's the comfort factor, and I can imagine a Pico probably
it's comfy.
Would be. I'm determined to stop using the word comfort when it comes to VR now. I'm changing it to tolerable. It's like comfort really is like getting your sort of like favourite sort of like fluffy jumper out the washing machine. It's nice and warm, and that's comfort.
Yeah.
Sticking a VR headset on is not comfort.
Yeah, the closest we can get to just being normal, like just having nothing there, is what it is, I suppose. And I think this looks great. I think you sent. Where did you send that photo, Lee? Was it on Discord to us?
Yeah, I sent a picture on Discord where I was sat in my living room. Yeah,
it looked good. That looked good, honestly.
And it was Ready Player One. I think I was watching. Yeah, it was. Really, really. I mean, it compresses it and it looks a lot because it's like super wide angle, isn't it? Where it takes a picture of. But
yeah,
well, the passive is really good anyway on the Pico 4. It's just a shame that they've not utilised it so much, and we've got all that to come with the Quest 3, I guess, with the depth sensor and fighting 8-foot orange octopuses and things like that. So,
what I was going to say as well on this, because what you were talking about there, Rog, is really the Rokid. You'd like to try those glasses for media consumption now, and on the next meetup I'll definitely bring them to the Retro Computer Museum anyway. I'm sure we'll head there at some point this year anyway.
The Christmas one should be probably end of November normally, isn't it?
So I'll make sure I'll bring them for people to try anyway. So it's a good use case. It's always been something that gone into. I remember watching. Did you guys ever watch? Because there's a difference. I know there's a difference between just watching sort of your standard movies on a big screen in front. But the one that always jumps out to me is Miyubi, which was a stereoscopic kind of.
Oh yes,
so good. That is one of the best things of. It's just it's about 45 minutes long. But yeah, that is on.
Who was it Jeff Gold? Who was in it? Was it Jeff Goldblum, or am I thinking of somebody else?
No.
There was somebody. Who was it? Who was in it? Miyubi. There was a hit.
As far as I know, there wasn't anybody.
There's a hidden bit. There's a hidden section.
Oh, maybe I missed it then. Because it's the robot one where you're like the toy robot. Yeah,
you're the toy.
Yeah.
Yes. There's a hidden section.
Oh right, I didn't know about that. I've watched it about 3 times all the way through, and I didn't know about that. Miyubi, it's on the Oculus, the desktop app.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
You've got to watch that. It's set in the 80s with his family, and they get a toy. This kid gets a toy robot for Christmas or a birthday, and it's just sort of snippets of their life, and you see it through the point of view of the robot. But it's done in a really clever way. It's the best thing I've seen.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard of that. I'll have to check it out then.
Yeah, I highly recommend that. Like I say, I've watched it about 3 times all the way through, and it's sort of like it's almost like a Christmassy kind of thing for me.
Jeff Goldblum.
Oh right, okay. I must have missed that. I don't know where that was.
I've just found Nathan's video on it.
Yeah, I'll have to go back in again then.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, that brings back some memories. It was. I mean, it still wasn't perfect, but it was definitely one of the best examples of its type at the time.
They did some really clever things in it. The story's great.
Yeah.
It's set, it's sort of got this nostalgia thing as well for me. Yeah, I felt like it had that element. But what it does is you look around the room. Okay, so you can look around this room in this stereoscopic, it's 360. It's 360 video, but it's really quite high quality. Is it Felix and Paul? Is that the...
Oh, I've just turned...
How do I spell it? I'm on the Oculus Store now. Tell me how to spell it. Miyubi, I think it is.
Yep, that's it. But yes, Felix and Paul.
Yeah. So one of the clever things it does, though, is where you've got a TV positioned next to you and you can see your reflection in the TV. So this is all a video. It's all video, but when you look around the room and you look at your reflection in the TV, it mimics where you're looking as well. So they've done this thing where it's video, it's all pre-recorded video, stereoscopic, 360, but they've also rendered you in there so it responds accordingly to how you're looking around. It's just really clever.
Puts you in the body and mind of a Japanese toy robot that is gifted to a young boy on his birthday in 1982, suburban America.
It's great. I highly recommended that one. Yeah.
I should get that then after we finish.
This came out on the CV1, so keep in mind what we thought looked amazing back then.
That's a good point, yeah.
I can see it on here. It says On Gear VR Oculus, so...
I wonder why it's not been released on like the Quest or something like that. That would be
2017. It was, Felix and Paul Studios, yeah.
Anyway, there's a tangent as well. So,
blimey, yes, I remember that one. Wow, that's everything we've got on the list. I don't know if anybody's got anything else they want to mention.
I mean,
no,
sorry, go on. Just remember that I had to play with PD's Lumepad 2. It's called Lumepad, the 3D tablet, and
3D tablet.
I just want to say, it's very, very impressive. I was quite surprised how good it really is. Honestly, it's just really confusing to look at that. I think there's one bit, it's from a film, I can't remember which film it is. It's like 3 little furry space creatures come out and they're actually coming out of the screen, and then there's trying to chase this peanut, and the peanut's going up towards you, and it's like, what's going on? It's like really, really close to your face. It's so weird to look at without any glasses or anything.
It's a 3D tablet, isn't it? That's what the Lumepad is. So I hadn't heard of it until PD made that video, really. So it looks pretty interesting.
You not heard of it, Gary? I'm surprised you haven't. I'm surprised you haven't got one. I'm surprised they haven't sent you one.
I think they've got a massive sale on at the minute for like 40% off as well. Because I think they're about £1,000, but I think at the minute you get one for like £600. But I mean, I'm not affiliated with them. I'm nothing to do with them. But all I've done is have a play on this tablet, and you can view your SBS things on it. I was watching one of my videos in SBS, and you can also convert 2D to 3D on it as well. So it kind of gives that depth 3D kind of feel to it. Yeah, really impressive. So go check PD's videos out. He's done quite a few, 1 or 2 videos on it, and that was a really good thing to see. Hopefully we can drag PD out with me, and then he'll be able to bring that to the Retro Computer Museum. It's so weird to see. Honestly, it's going to mess with your mind a little bit when you see it.
Hang on, I'm just typing an email now to.
I'm not bitter much.
I was just going to say, actually, before we finish off, I did want to do a bit of plug-in with my videos. So I've got the Rokid video coming out on Monday, and then probably on Thursday I've got a Pimax to G2 comparison, and then I'm going to get into the DPVR E4 video. Lee, you never plug on this show, honestly, and we should push your stuff as well. Why don't you give us a bit of a plug for your channel?
Yeah, I wouldn't watch my stuff, man. It's really not worth watching. It's really not. I mean, I do a bit of comedy VR and stuff, and I play really bad at games, and then sometimes I put a video out, and then sometimes I'll moan on Twitter that I don't really want to put videos out no more because it takes me that long to edit. But yeah, come and catch me on the live sometimes. Go and have a chat and help me with unusual findings. Gary caught a clip of that this week or last week, and some of the stuff. You think the puzzles are hard in some of those escape rooms. You want to play that game.
Yeah, it looks ridiculous. I mean, it's a great game, but yeah, some of the puzzles.
You've got to really think outside the box. You've got to think of everything. But what I never thought of doing is there's actually an option on the corner, like a little spaceship, and you can click that, and it tells you the things you can interact with. So when I was on that train thing, I should have clicked that, then it would have shown me the light, and I would have gone, oh, perhaps I've got to knock the light. Yeah. But, I don't think of that while I'm busy streaming.
No, it's tough to stream those kinds of games as well, where, although, I mean, I suppose because the chat, when I popped on, everybody sort of making ideas, contributions and stuff like that, so everybody was stuck. Everybody was just as stuck as you, really, as well.
But I also finished reading your book this week as well, Gary. I think I was up till 12 o'clock the other night, finishing The Memory Engine, and I thought it was great, mate. I really enjoyed it. Should be proud of yourself. It is a fantastic read, and I've not been paid by anything, or Gary's not paid me yet, but I will give you the PayPal after this recording.
Good luck. So this is like the plug-in section of the show, it seems. Rog, what you got to plug?
What have I got to plug? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. I can't be bothered with all this social media, video-y, Twitter. Oh, not Twitter anymore, is it?
No.
I hate it. Buy a mug, everybody.
Oh yeah, buy a mug.
Buy a mug. That's it. That's what I should have said. Oh dear. So I think that's about it. Thank you very much for listening. It really is appreciated. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time, I think. I think we should be back to our normal schedule now.
Hopefully, should be.
Hopefully, Well, cheers, everyone.
See you later.
Take care.
I didn't say my right thing that I'm supposed to say. What do I say?
Do it again and edit it in. Just say it now, and I'll finish my bit after.
You can never remember what your thing is. If you got a thing
something about next week.
Maybe I've not got a thing
about next week. Something next week.
See you next time. That's it. That's what it is. See you next time.
Right. Go on then, do it again, and I'll do my bit after.
Okay.
Ready? See you next again.
See you next time.
Take care. I think Gary laughed. Roger laughing on it.
See you next time.
Fuck off, everyone.
That's a bleep, isn't it? If I had this at the end. Right, we're done.